Hey, it's Mike, and I'm here for the Hare Krishna updates. And I got a great one today. Let's see. I already got a comment, and I haven't even started the show yet, but we're going to get right to it, and I'm going to do the opening, and then I'm going to get to all the comments.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, okay, thanks for sticking out that opening, and I want to get right to this, the topic of the show today. But somebody left a comment, and I don't know. It seems I don't even know if they're still here. It says, shouldn't 11-year-old Hare Krishna girls be revered because they're like those gopis? So I don't know if that's a serious question or not. Um, my answer to that is I don't believe in gopis. I don't believe that there were gopis and Krishna had sex with them. Uh, all these gopis down by the river. I don't believe that. So if you're asking me, shouldn't 11-year-old Hare Krishna girls be revered because they're like those gopis, then I say no, there's no such thing as gopis, and you should let 11-year-old girls be 11-year-old girls and let them do what 11-year-old girls do. I don't even know why. I don't even know why a grown man is interested in a conversation about 11-year-old girls and whether they should be revered or wife material or any of that. I don't know. It's just a weird pedophile cult, and so I don't I don't get it. I don't understand it. I mean, I do understand it. It's pedophilia, and it's almost like they force it on you because once you find out that these guys are all these gurus are falling down and having sex with little girls or touching little girls or having sex with their disciples at 80 years old, or having touching little girls like Indrayumna Swami and Lokanath Swami, or touching little boys like Bhavananda and Kirtanananda. That's that's pedophilia. That's what that is. It's not Vedic. And Prabhupada having sex with an 11-year-old girl when he was 22, and then putting in his books that 11-year-old girls, 13-year-old girls must be married to 25-year-old men. And you say no. If you disagree with that, well, then you're an offender. You're an offender. So now, if you want to stay in the cult, if you want to stay a Hare Krishna, you want to stay, you can't say that that's wrong. You can't say that grown men with 11 and 12-year-old girls is wrong. If you say it's wrong, you're committing offense. Because Prabhupada had sex with an 11-year-old girl when he was 22. So is this a pedophile cult? A cult of pedophiles? Absolutely. 100%. It's in their books. They defend pedophiles. They break them out of jail. They say that, well, no, he's not a pedophile. She was only 12. She got to be 9 or 10. And you're going to try and convince me this is not a pedophile cult? You're grooming little girls to just take abuse, to just take it, feel guilty. The woman said after she was raped, and they found out she was raped, she got punished for it. How the fuck she get punished for it? She needed therapy, is what she needed. She needed to go into therapy. She needed therapy. No. They told her she couldn't talk to nobody for 3 months, and she had to just work extra hard. What the fuck? She's a victim, and they're punishing her. And that idiot sitting there interviewing her is like, he can't even recognize the fuck is going on. He's so brainwashed. He can't even recognize. She's telling a story that no child should ever have to tell. And he's sitting there like she's talking about last week's birthday party. These people are freaking disgusting, man. And then they come in here and I don't know what this question. I don't know if it's a sarcasm or if this is a real question. I don't know. It's just bizarre knowing what this cult does and what they believe and what they do and what they've done. Hey, Glenn, man, I hope you're well. Glad to see you here. So anyway, I had to get that comment out of the way. But I'm going to talk about something. I'm going to read from the California Court of Appeals. And this has to do with the Robin George case. And I don't know how many of you out there watching are familiar with the Robin George case. This is from a long time ago. The actual crime, or the actual crime, or the whatever, took place in the 70s. The lawsuit took place in the late 80s, or sometime in the 80s, and then the appeal was finally settled, done in like 1992. I actually remember this because it happened in LA, in Laguna Beach, and LA, San Diego. And I remember as a kid, I was like a teenager, and so I remember the news just in the background of my head. That Robin George, I always knew that name. And then when I became a Hare Krishna, I remembered that Robin George, but I never really knew what it was all about, because to me, Hare Krishna wasn't a cult, and it was just 5,000-year-old tradition, ancient culture, and all this stuff, bullshit. So I didn't really care much about the Robin George case. I should have, though. I should have researched it, but there was no internet back then, so I couldn't just look shit up on the. I couldn't just look shit up like I could today. So I'm going to read this case, and this case is about a girl who. Well, it's all in this in the legal thing that I'm going to read. I'll just give you a quick synopsis of it, in case you don't know. In case a lot of you probably don't know. So this girl, she's like 14, and she ran away from home, and she ended up at a Hare Krishna temple. I think she ran away, and she ended up at a Hare Krishna temple, and then she kind of joined the temple, and then her parents did not like it, and uh, they tried to get her to go home. She wouldn't. They had a hard time with her. She went back to the temple. The temple started hiding her out. Moving her around, and then finally she got out. She left, and then a few years after she left the temple, left the Hare Krishna cult, she sued them. Her and her family sued them for brainwashing and a bunch of stuff, and they won. She won, and that's why you got to be an adult to join you got to be 18. You can't just go join a temple anymore. You can't just. They won't take you because they don't want to get sued. So, and this is why. This is like a landmark case. It had to do with the First Amendment. It had to do with it had to do with brainwashing, coercion, kidnapping, interstate. It had to do with a lot of stuff. So it's pretty interesting. So I'm gonna just go over it. And if you never heard it, if you don't know about it, you never heard about it, you're gonna learn about it here. If you know about it, good. I'm not gonna read. I'm not gonna read all the names of that's in this court. The names are too long, and I'm just not gonna read all those names. But I'm gonna just start here, and I'm gonna comment as I do. I'm gonna comment on it. So here it says plaintiff Robin George and her mother Marcia George brought this action against four. So this is the. I'm sorry. So this is George versus International Society for Krishna Consciousness of California, 1992. So this is the Court of Appeal, 4th District, Division 1, California. It's the final judgment, I guess. It says Robin George, plaintiffs, respondents, and cross appellate versus International Society for Krishna Consciousness of California. Decided on January 30th, 1992. So it says plaintiff Robin George and her mother Marcia George brought this action against 4 corporate entities of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness and 2 individual Krishna officials, alleging the defendants brainwashed Robin into joining the Krishna movement and thereafter conspired to conceal her from her parents. A jury agreed and awarded the Georges compensatory and punitive damages in excess of $32 million, a figure which was later substantially reduced by the trial court. So listen, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a paralegal. If some of these words and some of these things, I don't know, you have to excuse me. I'm just not, I'm not a legal type person there when it comes to this stuff. It says, Robin's compensatory award in excess of $1.8 million included damages for false imprisonment, intentional infliction of emotional distress, wrongful death, and libel. Marcia George's $1,510,000 compensatory award was based on emotional distress and libel. In our first opinion in this case, filed in August of 1989, we generally concluded that defendants' principal acts constituted torts against Marcia George, but not against Robin. So Robin is the girl and Marcia is the mother. We accordingly reversed the judgment in favor of Robin to eliminate the damages awarded as to all causes of action except the cause of action for wrongful death. So what happened was her father died, and they said it was due to the stress of this whole thing. He had like a heart attack, something like that. So that's where the wrongful death comes in, and I guess that's why so much money was the award is so big. I don't know, but I'll go on. On petition to the California Supreme Court by both parties, the court denied review but ordered our opinion depublished. Defendants then filed a petition for certiorari in the United States Supreme Court, arguing, among other things, that the punitive damages award in this case violated due process requirements. Defendant's petition was held pending the court's decision in Pacific Mutual Life Insurance Company versus Haslip, 1991. U.S. blah, blah, blah. The case numbers, a case which upheld Alabama's system for imposing punitive damages. So a lot of this appeal was how they came to the amount. So it's just some other stuff about the punitive damages, but it says here factual and procedural background. By most standards of American culture, Robin George was a normal 14-year-old in the summer of 1974. So Prabhupada was, he was at the height of his, he was of his Prabhupada mania here. So the George family had moved to Cypress, California, when Robin was 2 years old. In elementary school, Robin was enrolled in a program for mentally gifted children. In junior high school, she received above average grades and was editor of the school newspaper. So she was a good student. She was a smart kid. While Robin was growing up, the Georges attended a local Lutheran church where Marcia taught Sunday school. So Robin's mom was a Sunday school teacher. Oh, that's nice. Robin was confirmed in the Lutheran church in 1973. About this same time, Robin talked with her parents about investigating other religions. The Georges asked her to go ahead with her confirmation, but assured her she was free to inquire into other religious faiths afterwards. As a result, in early 1974, Robin investigated various beliefs by going to Catholic, Greek Orthodox, and Baptist churches and a Jewish synagogue, among others. In the spring of 1974, Jim George was diagnosed as having a weak heart. Concerned about her father, Robin began extensive reading on the relationship between exercise, diet, and heart condition. She prepared special meals for him and enrolled with him in a yoga class. Initial contacts with the Krishnas. Following her completion of ninth grade in 1974, Robin's best friend was 16-year-old Karen Dempsey. Karen had an 18-year-old boyfriend, John Herger. One day in July, Robin was planning to go to the beach with Karen and John. Karen suggested instead that they visit the Hare Krishna temple in Laguna Beach. John dropped the two girls off. Inside the temple, Robin and Karen sat down and meditated. They thought, quote, "That's what you should do in a temple," unquote. As the girls were getting ready to leave, a woman dressed in a sari approached, welcomed them, and insisted they eat some mashed avocados and dates, which she referred to as, quote, prasadam, unquote. The woman also invited the girls to return to the temple the following Sunday for a, quote, love feast. Robin had no intention of returning to the temple the following. It says Robin had no intention of returning to the temple. The following week, however, Karen came to Robin's house dressed like a Hare Krishna. Karen told Robin she had spent the night at the temple and had decided to join the Hare Krishnas. So it sounds like Karen was already into it kind of a little bit. Like they were going to go to the beach, but they went to the temple, and she took Robin with her. And then the woman gave him prashadam, invited her back. So it sounds like this Karen went back, and Robin never went back. And then the next week, Karen was dressed like a Hare Krishna. She's in. She's already in. She told Robin she'd spent the night at the temple and had decided to join. She decided to join. It was like that. I think this John Herger guy was probably a devotee. I think her 18-year-old boyfriend was a devotee. Robin tried unsuccessfully to talk Karen out of her decision. A week later, Robin agreed to go to the temple with Karen to learn more about the group. So it sounds like Karen's trying to get her in. Is like grooming her. Beginning in August, Robin visited the temple weekly, usually on Sundays. And that's how it starts. At first, she talked informally with various Krishna devotees and discussed their religious beliefs. Toward the end of August, Robin began attending occasional congregational meetings and group discussions concerning the tenets of the Krishna faith. During their visits to the temple, Robin and Karen met and talked with various Krishna devotees, including defendant Roy Christopher Richard, the president of the Laguna Beach Temple. Richard was known by his Krishna name, Rasvadev. Now, I have to say, it's really weird because I met this Rasvadev when I started hanging out at the Hare Krishna Temple. My daughter was in the school. This Rasvadev's kid was in the school. I think he was in the school or he was in the neighborhood, and he was about the same age as my daughter. And they lived around the corner from the temple, and then when Rasvadev moved out of this apartment years later, I actually moved into that apartment. So that's just a weird coincidence. I didn't know this Rasvadev back then, but it's just weird that this person that I met and knew at the LA Temple, and his kid would play with my daughter, is this guy, this Roy Christopher Richard. And and that's why I'm saying, you don't know who these people are. I had no idea. I had no idea who this guy, this Rasvadev was. I didn't know who he was. He was just Rasvadev. He was just some guy, and he wasn't even like he wasn't like a devotee. He wasn't in the temple like doing service in the temple. He was kind of like me on the outside, but he was definitely a Prabhupada disciple, and he was Rasvadev. But here it turns out that he was involved with this Robin George case. Okay, that's just a little side note. I just wanted to make a little side note. Richard was known by his Krishna name, Rasvadev. In September 1974, Marsha George visited the Laguna Beach Temple and spoke with Rasvadev, reminding him that Robin was at a very susceptible age. And Rasvadev's thinking, yeah, right, exactly, that's what we want. We want him at a susceptible age. We want, yeah. I mean, I'm sure he didn't tell his mom that, but I go on. By October, Robin had begun to adopt the practices of the Krishna faith. She began braiding her hair and wore a sari while attending her high school classes. She constructed a Hindu-style altar in her bedroom and arose at approximately 2:30 in the morning every morning to pray and chant. Marcia and George became concerned with Robin's acceptance of the Krishna religion and the resulting change in her behavior. Marcia again visited the temple in October to discuss the situation with Raspadev. She told him Robin's religious practices were beginning to interfere with her schooling. Raspadev assured Marcia that ISKCON had no interest in interfering with Robin's education. Bunch of bullshit. I mean, I already can see that he's feeding the mom a bunch of bullshit from the very beginning. By early November, Jim and Marcia directed Robin to dismantle her altar, forbade her from rising early in the morning to chant, and asked her to modify her diet. At about the same time, Raspadev had a private meeting with Robin and Karen in his office at the temple. After complimenting them on their acceptance of the Krishna faith, Raspadev told the girls, if you really are sincere about seeking God and being true devotees, you can't live at home and practice this religion. So right there, he's telling them, and he knows they're 14, 15. He's encouraging them to run away. He's practically telling them to run away. He's saying, if you really are sincere about seeking God and being true devotees, you can't live at home and practice this religion. So he's already manipulating them and coercing them and like spiritually, religiously blackmailing them, lying to them. If you're really sincere, you have to leave home. So shady to turn kids against their parents and getting them to leave. It's exactly what he's doing, man. Right off the bat, doesn't give a fuck. Mom already told him. Mom already went and told him, "Hey, she's only 14, man. You got to lay off. You got to lay off with my daughter." And now, and all that did was make him tell the kids, "Oh, you got to leave home if you want to. If you, why couldn't he just say, hey, you want to practice Hare Krishna and chant? Just don't make a scene at home. Don't be confrontational with your mom and dad. If they say don't get up at 2:30, 3, you can't. If they say you can't go to Mangalarti, don't go to Mangalarti. One day you'll be old enough. A couple of years, you'll be old enough in a couple of years to get up and go to Mangalarti if you want to. But right now you're 14. You're living with your mom and dad. They want you in bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you want you to get up at 8 o'clock and go to school. It's not unreasonable. That's not an unreasonable request of parents of their kids. No, he didn't do that. He didn't say just go home and be a good kid, go to school. You don't have to go to Mangalarti. You can just if you can offer shit in your mind. Oh, if you don't have the gold, you can just offer the gold in your mind. Well, then why can't she just do Mangalartik in her mind and home? Why talking her into leaving home so they to go to the temple and live in a temple? Because that's what he had to do. That's what Prabhupada told him. That's what Prabhupada told Raspadev. You can't live at home. You gotta. If you want to be my disciple, you gotta come live in the temple. Shave your head, put on a dhoti, and go sell my books. Probably didn't tell Raspadev, you can go home and just stay with your parents, and no. This is what and if you think that this lawsuit has stopped them from trying to convince people from joining and leaving their family. Speaking of people leaving their family, here we go. Hey, buddy, how you doing, man? Hi, Mike. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well, and I hope your brother is. I hope soon he gets away. I hope soon he gets away from this cult. This cult is. I hope he just walks away one day. I hope he can just walk away. I hope he has. I hope he can just.
Just walk away. There has been too much violence, too much pain. Just walk away, and there will be an end to the horror. Just walk away.
He's got to just walk away, man. I think my brother's seen some of your videos now. Oh yeah, maybe he was the one who came in here and was talking some bullshit, and I told him I don't want to hear your bullshit. And he said something about I don't know. I think he said I don't know if that was your brother or something, but he said something, and I said, oh well, you want me to believe Prabhupada when he says that black people are ugly and belong in the jungles? You want me to believe when he says that black people are drunkards and if you build a library, they're not going to go to read a book, they're going to go to drink. And they're vicious animals in Detroit. And we don't want the vicious ones. We just want the good ones. The good ones we'll take. We can take them and use them. But those vicious animals from Detroit, we don't want them. We don't want those. And I didn't get a response from it. He didn't want to answer me. He didn't want to say nothing. He didn't come into my chat and try to what, he's been a devotee for what, 2 years or a year, 2 years, and he thinks he's gonna come in and talk shit to me. Give me a fucking break, man. Give me a fucking break, man. Fucking Sri Mukunda, man. What name did Devamrita give him? That's what I gotta know. What name did Devamrita give him? Some goofball name. Yeah. Yeah. He needs to see some more. He needs to watch some more. Maybe he should be watching this one. He should be watching this one. Because I'm sure they told him the same thing. Hey, you can't be a Hare Krishna at home. You need to go to India and milk a cow. You need to go to India and milk a cow. And then when you go back, you can go to Gita Nagari, where the girl who was raped, the show that I did last night, and I showed the girl that got raped. That's where she went. She went to Gita Nagari. I knew that there's a bunch of shit happened there. I think that's Satsvarupa's place, your old place. Tell him to come back. Come back. I want to hear some more. I want to hear some more of his preaching. He's such a good preacher that I want to hear some more. I want to hear some more about what he has to say about the origin of the soul. Did the soul originate in the Brahma Jyoti, or did it originate in Goloka Vrindavan? And then I want to ask him. About the meaning of his name. What his name means. So I definitely tell that sucker to come back in here. I ain't done with him. He ain't shit, motherfucker. he he's promoting these pedophiles and their pedophilia, and he's translating their books and doing work for these fucking pedophiles. These fucking scammer gurus swimming in the river, taking donations from people like that, and then go swim in the river in their $400 wetsuit. What a fucking scam. What a fucking scam. Fucking makes me sick, these pieces of shit. been in the Hare Krishnas for 6 months, a year. He thinks he's going to come in here. He thinks he's going to come in here. He's going to talk to Sri Mukunda and give me a peace of mind and and tell me what's up. That's the funniest fucking thing I ever heard. Okay, so back to this lawsuit. So Rosvadev tells him you have to live in a temple facility. He explained, quote, your parents are demons and will try to pull you away from Krishna. The closer you get to Krishna, the more your parents will object if they be if okay. Rosvadev, the closer you get to Krishna, the more your parents will try to pull you away. Rosvadev then asked both girls if they thought their parents would object if they became devotees and went to live in the temple. Both said yes. He then asked, do they have enough money to hire a detective to try to find you? These people are sick. These people are sick. He's got two 14, 15-year-old girls in his office, in his temple. This is like a grown man, in his 20s. He's probably in his early 20s, 24, 25 maybe. He's asking him, can your parents hire a detective to find you if we hide you out? Full-on consciousness of guilt. He's saying, can we get away with this? He's already trying to figure out if he can get away with it. The girls replied they did not think so. As the conversation continued, Rosvadev told the girls that their parents were not their real parents and that horrible things would happen to them in their next life if they continued to live with people like their parents who ate meat, a practice that Krishnas believe is fundamentally sinful. It's the same thing they told me. They told me that I needed to get out of my parents' house with my daughter and I needed to move into the temple community. They wanted me, they were trying to tell me that this man and woman who were my parents weren't my real parents, although they let me live in their house with my 6-year-old daughter for free. Because I was a single parent and I was going through some time. So they're letting me live in their house with my daughter, a 6-year-old little girl. And I wasn't working. So this is what these two people that are not really my parents, but they're pretending to be my parents. This is what they're doing for me. And the temple is trying to tell me that I need to move out of their house because they're not my real parents. And I should move into the temple where they will charge me rent plus charge me to put my daughter in the school. So who's got my best interests? Who's looking out for me the most? These two people who are just pretending to be my parents? Or this scammer temple that wants me to move into their community with my daughter and pay rent and tuition? Because my mom and dad, they eat meat. My mother smokes cigarettes. My dad, he drinks alcohol, watches TV. Oh my goodness, it's such a horrible. You'd think they were living in friggin' I don't know what. It's their MO to call family demons. they call folk in their own community demons if they call out abuse or complain at all and get ostracized and criticized by the whole community. Everybody's a demon. Devotees are demons. The karmis are demons. Gurus are demons. Children are demons. I mean, everybody's a demon. If you don't go along with their pedophilia, all their grooming, the grooming of the boys, the grooming of the girls, the grooming of the women, you don't go along with that, you speak out against it, you're a demon. You're a Prabhupada hater. I remember when I said I'm not going along with this Todd with Darshan thing, and then they were telling me, they were saying, well, you hate Prabhupada. You hate Prabhupada. I hadn't found out that Prabhupada was with the 11-year-old girl yet. I still hadn't found that out yet. I was like a couple days or maybe a week or two from discovering that little tidbit. That new shit hadn't come to light yet. They're already calling me a Prabhupada hater. You're a Prabhupada hater. You're a demon. You're a Prabhupada hater. Because I wouldn't go along with the 11-year-old, 13-year-old girl bullshit. But we're the demons. We're the demons. They want to marry 13-year-old girls, 11-year-old girls, 12-year-old girls, the freedom to touch them and do whatever they want with them. But we're the demons. He explained, your parents are demons and they will pull you away from Krishna. The girls were told it was permissible to deceive non-believers like their parents because they were incapable of seeing the truth. So there you go. That's their MO. The girls were told it was permissible to lie to their parents because their parents were dumb. That's basically what he's saying. I paraphrased it. I paraphrased it into, a more simpler vernacular. The girls were told it was permissible to deceive non-believers like their parents because they were incapable of seeing the truth. So he's talking them into running away and lying to their parents. Now, they're underage, so I guess that is illegal. I mean, the court found them. The court found in their favor, so I guess that is illegal. You cannot talk a 14-year-old girl or boy into running away from their parents because their parents are demons. That precedent has been established with this lawsuit. You will be found, not that you can't do it, you can do it, but you will be found liable for it. Anything that happens, they can sue you for it. Because they're underage, they can't consent to that. Finally, Rosmadev suggested the girls run away from their parents. He said, quote, leave home and we will send you someplace where your parents will never find you. And we'll traffic you. We'll human traffic you to who knows where. We don't even know. We don't even know where we'll send you. Well, we'll send you somewhere. Because we don't care. Because we don't care. And I met this guy. I knew this guy. His kid used to play with my daughter at the LA temple. This Rosmadev. So where do you think Rosmadev is getting all of this stuff? You think he's making this up? You think Rosmadev is making all of this up? No. This is coming from Prabhupada's books. This is coming from Prabhupada's lectures. This is coming from Prabhupada's teachings, his letters, his conversations, his Bhagavad Gita, his Srimad Bhagavatam. That's where Vasudeva is getting all this idea. This is where Vasudeva is getting this idea. If you really are sincere about seeking God and being true devotees, you can't live at home and practice this religion. You have to live in a temple facility. Your parents are demons and they'll pull you away from Krishna. Your parents aren't your real parents, and horrible things will happen to them in their next life if they continue to live with people like... This is what Prabhupada teaches in his books. This isn't Vasudeva making this up. Vasudeva is just repeating what Prabhupada says in his books. You repeat what Prabhupada says in his books to a 14-year-old girl that wants to run away from her mom and dad, and you can be liable. Robin runs away to New Orleans. During the next 2 weeks, Robin formulated a plan to run away from home and informed Vasudeva of her intention. He's a grown man. On Saturday, November 16th, 1974, Robin packed some belongings and left her house through the bedroom window. Okay, that's November 16th, 1974. It says here... Okay. So it was early 1974 when she investigated going to the Catholic Church and the Greek Orthodox Church. In the spring of '74, it was when her dad was diagnosed with a weak heart, and she enrolled in the yoga class. It's spring, so that's like, was it like March, April, May? It says one day in July, they were going to the beach, and they got dropped off at the Hare Krishna temple. So that was in July. So July, August, September, October. So it just took 3 months. 3 months. So July, August, September, October, November. 4 months, and she's running away. She's running away to New Orleans. Because this guy told her that her parents are demons. And they eat meat. And if you want to advance in Krishna consciousness, you can't live around them. You can't be around them. And I'm sure that Apaz, I'm sure your brother was told the exact same thing. Exact same thing. You can't do this at home. You gotta, if you really want to taste it. You really want to taste. You gotta move in. You can have a taste, but you gotta move in. Okay, so it says on Saturday, November 16th, Robin packed some belongings and left her house through the bedroom window. She came in through the bathroom window. She met Karen and John Herger at a school a few blocks away. The trio drove directly to the Laguna Beach Temple. They were met there by Vasudeva, who instructed them to drive to the Krishna Temple in San Diego. He told Robin she had to go to San Diego because her parents would be coming here looking for you as soon as they find out that you are gone. In San Diego, he said it would be harder for her parents to find her. He instructed her to call him the following day to receive further instructions. This guy's a creep. It's like, not only is Rosmadave coercing her and talking her and manipulating her into running away from her parents, he's just a slime ball. He not only is he encouraging her and manipulating her into running away, but now he's like got her under his control. He's like giving her instructions on what she needs to do. He's like, okay, you're gonna go do this. You're gonna go to San Diego, and then you're gonna do this. Call me, and I'll, don't do anything until you hear from me. Like, don't go nowhere. Don't do this. Wait till you hear from me. This is really creepy shit for a grown man to be doing with a 14-year-old girl. It says, arriving in San Diego about midnight, Robin, Karen, and John slept for several hours at the San Diego temple. So it sounds like this Karen and John it sounds like he was a devotee. He got his girlfriend into it, and then they talked Robin into it, and now they're on this escapade. They arose early with the other devotees for chanting and other activities, as well as to prepare for a Krishna festival, which was to be held in Balboa Park that day. Robin called Rosmadave at 8 a.m. He told her that Kasudi, a devotee from the Laguna Beach Temple, would be arriving in San Diego later that day and would purchase an airline ticket for her to fly to New Orleans. Upon arrival, Robin was to phone the New Orleans Temple President Nityananda, who would arrange to have her picked up. This is where it gets weird too, because I know that Nityananda, that I met him, he was one of the Ritviks that was working with Yashodanandan and Damagoge. And I met him a couple times at a couple of our Ritvik gatherings that we had. He turned up there, and I didn't know that he was this guy. I didn't know he was this guy, so it's just weird when I read these names and the Rosmadave, Nityananda. It's just so strange. These characters that that's what I'm saying. I've been around. It's weird. It's like I'm Forrest Gump. It's like I've been around these different places where I ran into this Nityananda guy, and Yashodanandan, and then having dinner with Tamal Krishna, and Abhiram, and Radhakunda Das, and having dinner with the Vrindavan president. What's the guy's name? Goda, Pancha Goda, the temple president in Vrindavan. I had dinner with him. We all had dinner with him, because Radhakunda and my friend Bir Lakshman were old-time Prabhupada disciples. I mean, old-time Prabhupada disciples. So when we went to Vrindavan and we walked into the temple, they're like, who are you? That's the first thing they go, who are you guys? And they're like, I'm Radhakunda Das, and I'm Bir Lakshman Das. I'm Prabhupada disciple from 1970 or whatever. And they're like, oh my goodness. And so they laid out the red carpet, and I was just there. I was just there with them. Those are my buddies. They were like my buddies. So they treated me like I was a Prabhupada disciple, but I wasn't. I was nobody. But I got the red carpet treatment along with them. And then we got invited to Panchagoda's house and had dinner. We had dinner at his house. He's still the temple president of Vrindavan, the Vrindavan Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan. So I've been around and I've ran into so many of these characters and been in so many different places that are just weird to me. But now that I'm out and I look back, and I go, oh, Nityananda, he was the guy that was sued in the Robin George case. Okay, so it goes on. A short time later, several Laguna Beach devotees, including Kasudi and his wife Treyi, arrived at the San Diego temple. That afternoon, they went to Balboa Park Festival with Robin, Karen, and John. While they were at the festival, Treyi came running up to Robin, told her that her parents were there, and instructed her to hide in a nearby public restroom. So her parents went to the festival in San Diego and said, let's go check that out, see if we can find them down there. Find her down there. And they were right. Her parents weren't so dumb. A few minutes later, Kasudi brought the car around, and the three drove back to the San Diego temple where Robin was instructed to pack her belongings. Kasudi and Treyi then drove Robin to the San Diego airport where Kasudi purchased a ticket to New Orleans. The ticket was purchased for Audrey Sherman, Treyi's Christian name. Kasudi gave Robin the ticket, and Treyi gave her some identification with the name Audrey Sherman. They're just breaking all kinds of laws. They're just breaking laws, you can't do that. You can't. Well, you're not supposed to do that, but it is a crime. But anyway, Robin boarded the plane at 7 p.m. Sunday evening, arriving in. Look how many adults are facilitating the runaway of this girl, of this underage girl. It's like she's so important. This girl is so important. Oh, yeah, we need you. You got to run away from your parents and then come to the temple, and then we'll hightail you to San Diego, and then we'll hide you out there. And the parents are here. Let's hide her in the bathroom. Oh, now we got to drive back to San Diego. Oh, let's put her on a plane and fly her to New Orleans. I mean, why? Why? Why do they got to do this for this 14-year-old girl? Why? What is so important about this 14-year-old girl that they could just bust in their ass? I mean, they're driving her down to San Diego. They're buying airline tickets to fly her to New Orleans. I mean, what is now? They got to put her up in New Orleans. I mean, it's a Christian temple. They don't really have. It's not like they're getting a hotel room. Not like they're getting her a hotel room or anything, right? This is fake human. I can't believe you're here. It's great to see you again. This is crazy. This is a crazy story. I mean, this is really a crazy story. So now they gave her the identification as Audrey Sherman, and she boards a plane at 7 p.m. Sunday evening, arriving in New Orleans about dawn on Monday morning. After phoning the New Orleans temple, she was picked up by several devotees and taken to the temple. Soon thereafter, Robin met with the temple president, defendant Nico Kyut, that's Nityananda, also known by his Krishna name, Nityananda. During the conversation, Robin told him she was 15 years old. Nityananda informed her that he had received a letter from her parents, a copy of which was apparently sent by the Georges to each of the Hare Krishna temples in the United States. They were not fooling around. Her parents were not fooling around. The letter portrayed Robin as having a mental condition which required she be returned home. Robin responded that the contents of the letter were untrue. Nonetheless, Nityananda explained he had spoken with Jaya Tirtha, the guy who got his head chopped off, a member of the ISKCON governing body commission, and they had agreed she should write her parents to let them know she was all right. Like a ransom letter. Like a ransom letter. Nityananda provided Robin with a sample letter which she modified using her own words. The letter did not disclose Robin's whereabouts. See, it was a ransom letter. He wrote the letter, and then Nityananda told Robin he was going to mail the letter to the president of the San Diego temple with instructions that he mail it to the Georges. So they wanted to be postmarked from a different city from where she really is, because they're still trying to. Karen Dempsey and John Herger drove to New Orleans and joined Robin at the New Orleans temple within several days of her arrival there. During the succeeding months, Robin, together with other Krishna devotees, performed work and engaged in various religious activities and rituals at the temple. Robin would normally get between 4 and 5 hours sleep each night. Beginning in December 1974, her activities expanded to include Sankirtan, the Krishna reference for the solicitation of donations. Begging with a book. They put her to work begging for a book. So all that work, all that criminality, so they could send her out to sell books. It was so important for Rosmadev and Nityananda to get this girl, this 14-year-old girl, into a temple where she could sell books. Is that what this is all about? Is that what this is all about? She'd never sold a book before. She didn't know anything about selling books. But now they got her selling books in New Orleans in December. So remember, she first went to the temple in July. July, August, September. She runs away in November. September, October, November. Now she's out selling books. It was so important that they get, you know what, we really need a 14-year-old in New Orleans to sell books. Okay, I'm going to go on here. Nityananda controlled virtually every aspect of life at the New Orleans temple. He set work schedules, determined how much sleep each devotee would be allowed, and controlled the temple finances. The devotees were not allowed to have any money of their own, but were required to seek Nityananda's permission if they needed to purchase anything. Can you imagine living that life? Can you imagine being a grown-ass man and you're living in an ashram with other grown-ass men and you don't have any money or anything, and if you want anything, you got to go ask another grown-ass man if you can have a couple dollars so you can go buy some underwear or some socks or some toothpaste or whatever it is that you want, because they won't let you have any money or have anything. Oh my goodness. At one point, Robin developed a staph infection in her foot. She attempted to obtain Nityananda's permission to see a doctor. Can't even see a doctor without asking permission. He refused. Who's he to refuse? Why is he refusing medical treatment? Who does he think he is? Who do they think they are? You think anything's different now? You think they believe anything different? These books are the same. Nothing's changed in 50, 60 years. Whatever he was thinking then, he thinks now, and nothing's changed. Just he ain't gonna traffic a 14-year-old across state lines anymore. He ain't doing that. All this other shit he still believes. Get away from your parents. Got to move in the community. Blah blah blah. Chant 16 rounds. All this stuff he believes. He refused, telling her the sore simply indicated that Krishna was causing her past karma to leave her body. What a fucking sick ass. Fucking. I bet if he had a fucking open sore on his foot, I bet he wouldn't be sitting there chanting Hare Krishna and saying, "Oh, it's my karma." He'd run off to friggin' Kaiser or friggin' whatever, and he'd get it fucking looked at. He ain't no fucking idiot. I would have said, "Hey, You want me to sell books or chop some vegetables in the kitchen? I'm going to the fucking doctor and you're fucking paying for it. Or I'm out of here. Or I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
Just walk away. There has been too much violence, too much pain. Just walk away, and there will be an end to the horror. Just walk away.
I guess you can't just walk away if you got a staph infection in your foot and Nityananda won't let you go to the doctor. I guess you can't walk away. Several days later, Nityananda agreed that Robin could go to a charity hospital. Oh, how nice of him. He let her go to a free clinic. Nityananda informed the members of the New Orleans temple that Robin's parents were looking for her. He instructed them that they should tell no one Robin was living there. So he instructed the whole temple to lie for this 14-year-old girl so she could continue to sell books because they needed her to sell books. It just wasn't the same without her. At one point, a sign was placed over the telephone reading as follows: "If anyone calls asking for Robin George, tell them she is not here. No one lives here by that name." So the lengths that they'll go to, they had to put a sign up because they weren't sure if everyone was and they weren't sure if the person answering the phone was going to screw up or not, say the wrong thing. Somebody answering the phone doesn't know the scam, and they're like, "Oh, Robin, yeah, she's around here somewhere." So they had to put a sign over the phone. Don't screw up. You're right, Mike. They're so hypocritical. Your medical stuff is karma being burned off, but theirs gets first-class medical treatment. Collective lying still happens. Man, these gurus go and get first-class medical treatment. Meanwhile, they're telling this girl, no, it's just your karma, so don't worry about it. They didn't say that when Jaya Pataka needs to go in and get his friggin' whatever he needs done. Is that his karma getting burnt off? Satsvaroop? These guys they claim they have dementia. I don't know if they do or not. Hey, if they do, I understand. It's part of life. I mean, it's nothing to be ashamed of, and there shouldn't be any stigma to it, or there's nothing to be made fun of. Absolutely. But do they really have dementia, or is that an excuse for them sexting their disciple dirty pictures and stuff and having affairs with their 35-year-old? Who knows what they're doing, but is that an excuse for that type of behavior? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But if they are diagnosed, they're getting treatment, they're getting first class care, MRIs and Alzheimer's medication and assisted living and all of that. They're getting that. But meanwhile, the devotee with the open sore on her foot, she can go to the free clinic. That's where they can go. Continuing into the early part of 1975, the Georges persisted in their attempts to locate Robin. So it's been going on for like 6 months now. They can't find her. Marcia George spoke with Rosbadev at the Laguna Beach Temple on 2 occasions. Rosbadev told her it was quite possible that Robin was in the Hare Krishna movement somewhere and he didn't know where. She told him that Jim George, in their second conversation, Marcia again asked Rosbadev's help in locating Robin. She told him Jim George had a weak heart and he was taking it very badly, and I was afraid that it would kill him. Rosvadev laughed and replied, "Well, this has happened to another devotee's father who had a heart attack but didn't die." So he laughed. They put this in the court document that he laughed. So when she told him that he had a weak heart and that she was afraid that it would kill him, Rosvadev laughed. So these are your holy men, right? These are your guys that are supposed to be the holy men of the movement. They're supposed to be the example, the temple president. You know, he was the Slavas of his day. And they have no compassion. They don't give a fuck about this Robin George. They don't give a fuck about the mom and dad. They don't care that the guy's got a weak heart. They don't care that they've been looking for their daughter for 6 months. They're worried shitless about her. They just don't care. But they're holy men and they're love of God. Love of God. They're so busy loving God, they can't even be a good person. They're so busy cosplaying in their dhoti and their kurta and their sika and their friggin' tilak that they don't know how to be a fucking decent, good person. Because Prabhupada's telling them that that's not, being good is not being good. Being good is not good enough. You got to be transcendental. Being good is the same as being bad. Being bad, being good, being bad. That's just material life. That's what you got to be transcendental. You got to be beyond that. You got to go beyond good and bad. They don't give a fuck. Moving this girl around, why? So she can sell books? He's laughing. The mom is telling him that they're afraid that she's afraid her husband and Robin's dad is going to die. He's so stressed out over his daughter. And Rosvadev just laughs. He just laughs. A Sunday love feast. They got the nerve to call it a Sunday love feast. Rosvadev thinks that her parents are demons and they eat meat and they do all this shit that I always say. That's what he thinks. He doesn't care if the father dies. He's laughing. I'm afraid my husband might die. He's got a weak heart, and he's taking it. So what? We've had this happen before. There are a lot of people have heart attacks. They don't always die. No big deal. That's his attitude. He laughs at her. That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Prabhupada talking shit to that reporter woman, telling her brain was small and this and that. You're too dumb to understand women's liberation. You're too dumb to understand abortion. You're too dumb to understand anything I'm saying. This is how they talk. Rosvadev laughs at, my husband might have a heart attack. I'm afraid he's distressed about it. I don't give a shit. Fuck that. So what? This is a holy man. This is a temple president. This is the leader of the community. He didn't feel any compassion or any sympathy or empathy for this woman who wants to know where her daughter is, and she's afraid that her husband might die. And Rosby doesn't give a fuck. That's the kind of people. That's the kind of people in this book. This is the kind of monsters that Prabhupada creates. Guys that'll go through all this bullshit, lies, cheat, Steal, beg, hide people out, put a sign on a phone saying no, she don't hear nobody, she don't live here no more. Alice don't live here anymore. All of that shit so this girl can go sell books because it's so important for her to go sell these goddamn fucking books. Her dad's gonna die because they wanted her, because they did all this bullshit to put her out so she could sell books on the street, go and beg people and give them a book. After receiving the letter from Robin, which was mailed from San Diego, the Georges drove to the San Diego temple and met with the temple president and several other devotees. And these parents are like not giving up, man. They love their daughter. They want their daughter back. Between November 74 and January 1975, the Georges made several additional trips to San Diego. In February of 1975, the Georges arranged to meet with GBC member Jayatirtha, the Headless Horseman. He expressed sympathy with their situation and promised to try to help find Robin. In December 1974, the Georges sent a letter with a picture of Robin to the juvenile divisions of the police departments in all the cities in which Krishna temples were located. In March 1975, the Georges sent a similar letter to the fire departments in those cities. The second letter included the promise of a $500 reward for information as to Robin's location. They're not giving up. They're not taking no for an answer, and they're not giving up. In April 1975, apparently in response to the second letter, police in New Orleans went to the Krishna temple asking for Robin. With the help of another devotee, Robin escaped through a rear window and hid in a nearby apartment used by the Krishnas as a residence. About 20 minutes later, after the police had left, Robin returned to the temple and was summoned to Nityananda's office. He told her he had spoken with Jayatirtha and they had decided she should call her parents, tell them she was fine, and ask for permission to stay at the New Orleans temple. Robin called home and spoke with her mother. When Robin asked for permission to stay at the New Orleans temple, Marcia replied she would have to discuss the issue with Robin's father. Robin then turned the phone over to Nityananda, who essentially repeated Robin's request to Marcia. Marcia replied that she didn't think Jim George would permit it. Nityananda told Marcia, "Well, I can't help what she does. If you want her to come home, she'll run away." These people are disgusting people. These people are disgusting people. Marcia responded, "If she runs away, we'll hold you responsible because you're the president of the temple and you have jurisdiction, and if she runs away, we'll know it's because you helped her to run away." Later that afternoon, the New Orleans police arrived at the temple, found Robin, and took her to the police station. Jim George arrived in New Orleans that night, took custody of Robin, and arranged to fly with her the following day to Los Angeles. During the plane ride, Robin began chanting as she had been instructed to do by Nityananda. After Jim warned her to stop several times, he slapped her across the face. 3 weeks at home. Upon their arrival at the George home in Cyprus, Marcia noticed that Robin had lost a considerable amount of weight. She described her daughter as stiff and expressionless. Within several hours of her arrival home, Robin attempted to escape through a bedroom window. When her parents discovered the escape attempt, Robin fled to the backyard, hysterically chanting and screaming Nrsimhadev. Jim picked up the garden hose and began squirting Robin from a distance of 4 to 5 feet. Some of the water got into her mouth. At some point, both Jim and Robin slipped on the wet patio slab and fell to the ground. Following the hosing incident, Jim and Marcia were preoccupied with the fear that Robin would again attempt to escape. For several nights, they took turns sleeping so one would always be awake watching Robin. The three then discussed the situation and agreed to a procedure where a long chain was attached to Robin's ankle and secured to the base of the toilet, allowing Robin to move freely between the bedroom and bathroom, but preventing her escape. After several nights, this practice was discontinued. Within days after arriving home, Robin received a telephone call from Nityananda in New Orleans. He told her, "I will get you out of there as soon as possible and just keep chanting Hare Krishna." What is so important about this girl that they are working night and day to get her away from her parents and into a temple so she can sell books? Is it because they just want her to sell books? Is that what it's all about? Or is it something else? Is it she's a 14-year-old girl? 15 now? Is that why they want her so bad? I mean, I'm serious, man. Why do they want her so bad? Why does Nityananda want her so bad? Why does Rasabadev want her so bad? I can't help but think about the girl that was married and raped at 13, child marriage, and 11-year-old girls and 12-year-old girls, and the woman coming up to the lady and saying, "Hey, your daughter's beautiful. She's 13. You think she'd marry my son? He's 37." Is that why they want this 14-year-old girl so bad? Why is she so fucking important to them? Like, go home to your parents. Chant Hare Krishna at home. I don't, I, okay. Thereafter, Nityananda told Karen Dempsey to call a friend of hers in the Cyprus area named Vivian Grass. Karen arranged for Vivian to pick up some money which Nityananda was wiring from New Orleans. Spiriting Robin away to Canada. On May 1st, 1975, Robin was supposed to go to a neighbor's house. Instead, she went to Vivian Grass's house. Grass then drove Robin to the Disneyland Hotel, where, using the money provided by Nityananda, she purchased an airplane ticket to Miami. Grass then drove Robin to the Laguna Beach Temple. When Robin learned that Rosmadev was not there, she spoke with a devotee named Padmagarva. This Padmagarva guy is a real slime ball, and he's still living at the LA Temple, if he's still living at the LA Temple. He was living at the LA Temple for 20 years that I was there. And the guy's a real slime ball, and when I mean slime ball, you know what I mean. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Explaining her situation and asking to be taken someplace other than Laguna Beach. I can't believe I know this Padmagarva guy. I know this Rashbadev guy. I know this Nityananda guy. I met all three of these guys. That's how disgusting this cult is. You can't take 2 steps without stepping into shit. I met these guys. I didn't even know any of this shit. This Padma Garba, I just Padma Garba drove Robin to the residence of an ex-Krishna devotee in Leucadia. Shortly after her arrival in Leucadia, Robin called Roswadev in Laguna Beach. Several days later, Roswadev came to Leucadia to visit Robin. I don't, she has got this whole network, all these devotees working to keep her hidden and keep her in this thing. Why? Because she's 14? Hey, Howard Johnson, how you doing, man? Is it because she's 14? Is that why she's so important? She's a brand new devotee. She doesn't even know anything. She's barely read any books. She's just chanting and eating vegetarian food, and she had an altar in her bedroom. She'd only been in for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. Why is she so important? Do they all want to? Does every one of these guys want to marry her? Is Rosamadev going, yeah, I can marry this 14-year-old girl? And then Nityananda's like, yeah, maybe I can marry this 14-year-old girl. And now we got Padma Garba. He definitely wants to marry this 14-year-old girl. Now we got Padma Garba. Padma Garba drive. So they fly her to Miami. They purchase a ticket to Miami. They drive her to Laguna Beach. Then Padma Garba drives her to Leucadia, wherever that is. I don't know where that is. And then Roswadev drives there, I guess, to go visit her. He told her he had spoken with Nityananda, who did not want Robin to go to Miami. Instead, he wanted her to fly to Dallas and then on to Canada. So why all of this? I mean, I understand they're hiding her out from her parents. I understand that. But why? This is like Austin Powers or something, like International Man of Mystery. Why is she so fucking important? Fucking important. Why is she so fucking important? They gotta do all this. Tickets to Miami, flying her here, flying her there, driving her to San Diego, flying her to Miami, bringing her back. Now her parents got her. And then they broke her away from her parents and took her back to Laguna Beach. Now they're going to take her to San Diego. And Padma Garba is going to drive her to Leucadia. Now Roswadev goes to Leucadia to meet her up there. And now Nityananda's like, no. It's like these 3 guys are fighting over her. Nityananda's like, no, I don't want her to go to Miami. I want her to go to Dallas. And then I want her to go to Canada. Like, why? Does she have the secret code? Does she have like gold bars in her bag? Does she have the winning lottery ticket? Does she have the golden ticket for Willy Wonka? What does she fucking have? I think we know what she has. What does she have that these guys want so bad? These grown men, these 25-year-old men. Why are they fighting and falling all over each other for this 14-year-old girl? I think we know. I don't think there's any question why Rosabadi is driving all over and Padma Garba is driving all over and Nityananda is buying tickets to fly her here and fly her there. Is it because they need her to go out on Sankirtan? Is that what it is? Sankirtan? They need her for For the Christmas marathon? That's what they need her for? The fuck they need her for? Fuck. The fuck they need her for? There are these three grown men, Nityananda, Rasabadev, and Padmagara, falling all over each other for this girl. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. I mean, you gotta read between the lines, kind of. You gotta read between the lines and kind of make notes in the margin is what you gotta do. Making notes in the margin is just as important as reading between the lines. And I got a lot of notes in this margin. Because I know Padmagarva. I know what kind of creep he is. I know him when he's a dirty old man. And obviously here he's like a dirty young man. About a week later, Rosbadev again visited Robin in Leucadia and told her he had arranged for her to fly to Buffalo, New York the next day. They're like the wacky races. Now she's on her way to New York, to Buffalo, New York. From there, she would be taken to Canada. Later that day, Rosbadev took Robin to a convenience store in Leucadia and bought some makeup. He instructed her to wear the makeup and disguise herself as a pregnant woman for the flight to Buffalo. This is fucking insane. Look at this Rosbadev. Like, no one's going to notice a 14-year-old girl with makeup on pretending to be pregnant on a flight to Buffalo. How stupid do they think people are? I mean, I'm not saying everyone's going to say, "Hey, there's a 14-year-old," but do you think no one's going to notice that? You don't think any woman, you don't think any grown woman on that flight is going to know that there's this is so fucking stupid. Hey, Liam, good to see you here, man. I'm glad to see you here. Wait a minute, let me see. What is this? By the way, I watched the entire video of 13 hours old, of a 13 years old who got married and abused. She blames it all on Prabhupada. He was the main culprit behind her abuse. The man on the podcast didn't know how to react. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, I've watched that. I've seen that a couple times. Yeah, she blames it on Prabhupada, and then she also says there were other kids. There were others, many others. And he's like, "Oh, really? I didn't know." It's crazy. Yeah, the 13-year-old lady from the interview. Yeah, crazy. And here and after you watch that interview about that lady and the lady in Mayapur who had to leave with her kids because the father was saying he wanted to traffic his daughter, and the woman wanted a daughter, and the other lady wanted a daughter. I mean, and then you read this, and you go, was this really just were they really just hiding her out, or was there something else going on? Was there something else going on, or it's like, wake the fuck up, Hare Krishnas. I know. I mean, I it just blows me away because the last time the first time and last time was the first and last time that I read this, and I was blown away by all this stuff. That it I was shocked by all of these names that I'm seeing in these names and everything, but I didn't realize about the the pedophilia and how just. And now when I read this, I can't help but think that these three guys are fighting over this 14-year-old girl. I mean, I'm going to just throw it out there. I'm going to throw it right out there. What I know now, the interviews of these girls that I've read, the child marriages, what I've read in the books, doing these videos, talking to other people, seeing all this stuff. When I read this now, they're not just helping her run away. These guys, this is some creepy shit. I'm glad this man brought her on his podcast. She unmasked the crap out of this cult and Prabhupada. Absolutely. And that's why I brought it back, because I did a video about her like a year ago, or when I first saw it, I did a video about it. And now that new shit's come to light, I said I gotta revisit that video. I gotta take another look at that video. So yeah, and that's why I'm taking another look at this. And I'm glad I'm taking another look at this, because what I'm seeing right now is really this is a court document, but this is some disgusting shit. When you read between the lines and the notes in the margin, this is some disgusting shit. So he instructed, and this is really something. He instructed her to wear makeup and disguise herself as a pregnant woman for the flight to Buffalo. Like, why? I mean, I understand why, but I mean, it's just crazy. It's. Man, okay. The following day, one of the house residents drove Robin to the San Diego airport and purchased an airline ticket for her under an assumed name to Buffalo via Dallas. Upon her arrival in Buffalo, she was picked up by several devotees who took her to the Buffalo Temple, where she stayed for approximately 1 week. So now she's in a Buffalo Temple. Now the Buffalo Temple's involved hiding this girl. She's like the most important runaway in the history of runaways, because they got a whole organization dedicated to this 14-year-old girl. Like, no 14-year-old runaway has ever had this kind of underground railroad to facilitate their delinquency. Because she's 14. She's 14, so obviously they got to pull out all the stops for her. They got to stop the presses. Everybody, hold on, stop what we're doing. We got a 14-year-old here. We got to make sure we got to get her to Buffalo, and then we got to get her to Dallas, over to Miami. Miami, give me San Diego. San Diego, hold on. Buffalo, you there? Okay, Miami, we're sending the girl. Okay, Laguna Beach, hold on. Okay, over here. What the fuck? For one 14-year-old girl. One 14-year-old girl. Now she's at the Buffalo Temple, and she's there for a week. When Robin's parents discovered she had disappeared, they immediately filed a report with the Cypress police. Oh, look, who's this? Hello, Mike. Nice to catch you live. Hey, Dan Preston. I'm glad you're here, man. It's always great when you're here. Let me see what. Yeah, man, that kiwi. That kiwi. When Robin's parents discovered she had disappeared, they immediately filed a report with the Cypress police. They then proceeded to the Laguna Beach Temple and asked to speak with Rosbadev. When they were told he was not there, they left a message. Rosbadev called the Georges early the next morning. He told Marcia he had not seen Robin, but that if he learned any news of her, he would call her and let them know. The Georges also spoke with Nityananda in New Orleans. He also denied knowing where Robin was and promised to call if he heard anything. Yeah, I don't know where she is. I'll call you if I hear anything. Shortly after she arrived in Buffalo, Robin called Nityananda, informing him that the president of the Buffalo Temple had asked her to stay there rather than going on to Canada. So now the temple president in Buffalo wants a little action. Like Rosabadev's like, no, she's got to stay here in Laguna. She can't stay here in Laguna Beach, but I want her. And then, so then they send her to San Diego and then to New Orleans. And then Nityananda's like, no, I want her. She's mine. But I got to get her over to Buffalo somehow. And then Padma Garba's like, well, I'll drive her to Leucadia because maybe, I can just slip in a little on the way or something. I don't know what's going on. She didn't claim any hanky panky from any of these guys, so they obviously their plans didn't work out. They were too busy trying to hide her to figure out how to I guess that's what. So now the temple president in Buffalo wants her to stay in Buffalo rather than going on to Canada. Nityananda replied he would talk with the temple president and make sure Robin was sent on to Ottawa. Nityananda's like, nah, I got plans for this one, okay? It's like, I don't know, man. It's like a whole human trafficking thing going on. Within a week, Robin was driven across the border by several Buffalo devotees who then purchased her a bus ticket and saw to it that she boarded a bus to Ottawa. Upon her arrival in Ottawa, she was met by the Ottawa Temple president, Su, who took her to the temple. As was the case with Nityananda in New Orleans, Su prescribed Robin's daily routine at the Ottawa Temple. One member of the Ottawa Temple described Robin as a sincere and hardworking devotee. Robin also wrote letters to Karen Dempsey, at this point still a member of the New Orleans Temple, telling her how much she liked living in Ottawa. Excuse me. Marcia spoke with GBC member Jayatirtha in mid-May. He agreed to try to help locate Robin. He also asked Marcia whether she and Jim would agree to allow Robin to live in one of the Southern California temples if he was successful in locating her. The Georges told Jayatirtha they would do so as long as Robin could continue her education. Jayatirtha responded that the decision to bring her back ultimately would not be his, but the decision would remain with the president of the temple in which she was located. Excuse me. This is some bullshit, man. It's like, he's like, I'll try to find her, but, there's some conditions. Jayatirtha then called Su and asked him to inquire of Robin whether she thought her parents were sincere. Robin told Su she thought there was only a 50-50 chance that her parents would follow through on the bargain. Thereafter, the Georges had increasing difficulty communicating with the Southern California Krishna leaders. On one occasion, when Marcia was successful in contacting Jayatirtha and Rosbadev, they accused the Georges of mistreating Robin while she returned home. Frustrated, the Georges began a public relations campaign against the Krishna movement in Southern California. During the month of June 1975, they and several friends picketed the Krishna temples in Laguna Beach, Los Angeles, and San Diego. They also picketed Rosbadev's personal residence. On that occasion, they were confronted by Rosbadev, who threatened to blow up their car if they didn't leave. So there's your holy man again. There's your holy man threatening violence and blow up someone's car because they want their child back that you kidnapped, talked into leaving, and now you've hiding her out somewhere on the North American continent. We don't know where. Canada, Mexico, New Orleans, Miami, Dallas. And now you're threatening to blow up their car because they just want their child back? You fucking asshole. They just want their fucking kid back. You fucking brainwashed with your bullshit. They, what they should have done was they should have hired some thugs to go beat the fuck out of Jayatirtha and beat the fuck out of this Rosamadev. Who the fuck do they think they are? In their fucking robes and their shaved heads and their tilak? Fuck them. Who the fuck are they? You kidnapped my daughter? To me, it's kidnapping. Unless you can prove that she's running away, I'm going to say you kidnapped her. You kidnapped my daughter? You got her who knows where? Hiding her out? You know she's only 14. You doing all this bullshit? And then you threaten to blow up my fucking car? You gonna blow up my car? You gonna blow up my car? Where is this?
You saying you want a piece of me? You want a piece of me? You got it!
He's yelling up there. He's gonna blow up their fucking car. And they should have fucking hired some guys to fucking blow him up. Who the fuck is Rosmadave? Who the fuck is Jayatirtha? Who the fuck are these people? Who's this swimmer guy swimming in the Thames? Hey, Indrayumna Swami touching these little... Who the fuck are these people? It makes me sick. We're gonna blow up your car if you don't leave. The guy should have pulled out a gun and fucking shot him. That's what he fucking should have done. You trafficking my daughter across the country for your fucking... so you can marry her off to some fucking 37-year-old man? Who the fucking shot him? You threaten me? Blow up my car? The fuck? Another devotee standing only a few feet from Rosmadev warned the Georges that they might never see their daughter alive again if they didn't stop picketing. Now they're going to make threats. We're going to kill your daughter. These are the kind of people. These are the kind of people. If you think you go, well, that's them. They don't all think like that. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They all think like this. It's a cult. That's what cults are. They all think the same. A cult is a group of people that all think the same. That's what a cult is. It's got other things, but that's one of them. It's a group of people that all think the same. So when Jitaratri says 12-year-old girls is Vedic, he's saying it. They all think it, but they don't all say it. Jitaratri said it. Dhamma Ghosh said it. Yashodananda won't say it. A lot of these people, they won't say it. But they think it. Because it's in the books. This is how they think. You come picket my temple. You come, I'll blow your fucking car up. I'll blow your car up. You may never see your daughter again. Just like they blew the guy's head off in his van. These people, they just want their kid back. They just want their kid back. Their daughter. Can you imagine your daughter? Some freak talks your daughter, your 14-year-old daughter, into running off, join a cult? And you don't know if you're ever going to see her again? And then some of these cult freaks come out, threaten to blow up your car, threaten to fucking kill you or your daughter? The fuck? In July 1975, in response to pressure from the California Attorney General, the mayor of Cyprus and others, Captain Don Amberg of the Cyprus Police Department, contacted Jayatirtha about the Robin George situation. Amberg had been told at the Laguna Beach Temple that Jayatirtha was about as high in the movement as he could go until his head chopped off, and then he was going to be a little bit lower. He wasn't going to be so high up. You're going to be about this much shorter after that. Jayatirtha told Amberg that he had already cooperated fully with the Georges. Nonetheless, he volunteered to write another letter requesting information about Robin George and send copies to all Krishna temples in the United States. By a cover letter dated July 24, 1975, Jayatirtha forwarded a copy of the letter to Amberg. The cover letter stated in part, "I hope that you can see by this that we are indeed attempting to help out the Georges as much as is within our power. Beyond a temple-by-temple search, which is unfeasible, I don't know what else we can do to facilitate your work." Such bullshit. The con. In August 1975, the Krishnas responded to the pressure being created by the Georges. Nityananda drafted 2 letters and sent them to Amsu with instructions that Robin copy them, making whatever changes were necessary to put the thoughts in her own words. The first letter was addressed to Robin's parents. In it, she explained she was no longer a member of the Krishna movement. Instead, she was traveling with a group of musicians in Mexico and enjoying her independence. She repeatedly chided her parents for mistreating her when she was home. So this is the lengths that they will go to, this Nityananda guy. Anything and everything is okay as long as you're doing it for Krishna. You can lie, you can cheat, you can make up letters, you can just lie your ass off. Who cares? Here's the temple president, the head holy guy, the head holy man, the head devotee in the Krishna Cult and the love feast and all of this bullshit and satyam and truthfulness and honesty and all of this, the qualities of the 24 qualities of a devotee, or the 28 qualities, whatever the fuck they say. He's always truthful. He's poetic. He's this. He's that. He's honest. He's doesn't lie. Oh, bullshit. This bullshit, man. 26 qualities of a devotee. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, whatever the fuck. Bunch of crap. Write a letter, lie to your parents and tell them that you're in Mexico. That'll throw them off the trail. I got a great idea. We'll write them a letter and we'll tell them you're in Mexico on a bus. Fucking. The second letter was addressed to Karen Dempsey, John Herger, and Nityananda at the New Orleans Temple. In that letter, Robin also stated she was traveling to Mexico and complained about mistreatment by her parents. She mentioned she had heard about her parents' public relations campaign against the Krishnas and hoped her letter to them straightens things out. It's a bunch of bullshit. Just like every show, I get so pissed off at their crap. I get mad and I just I'm done. I'm done. Man. Retards are us mental. Yeah. This Nityananda, he's a real brainiac, isn't he? He's a real fucking brainiac. Robin addressed the envelopes as well. The first letter was placed in an envelope without explanation, addressed to Karen Dempsey's family. Amsu explained to Robin that Nityananda thought this was necessary because if the letter were sent directly to Robin's parents, they would simply ignore it and tell no one about it. Amsu sent the letters and envelopes without postage to Nityananda in New Orleans, who forwarded them to Mexico City Temple, where they were stamped, postmarked, and mailed to their respective destinations. So they're just doing mail fraud. Mail fraud and just every kind of disgusting thing. I mean, mail fraud is, I don't know how disgusting that is. But they're doing other disgusting things to hide this 14-year-old. Again, look at the lengths that they're going to for this 14-year-old girl who's only been a devotee for 9 months, 10 months. Not even initiated. She doesn't even know all the friggin' prayers already. How much does she know? And that she spent most of her time in the Krishnas and she's been hiding out. She spent more time traveling from here to there to there to here to there than she's done anything else in this fucking cult. She's like the Patty Hearst of the Hare Krishnas. They're running around, hiding around. People looking for her, can't find her. Where is she? She's over here. Is she there? Oh no, where is she? Over there. Actually, this is about the same time Patty Hearst was that's a weird thing. But anyway, before forwarding the material to Mexico City, Nityananda showed Karen Dempsey the first letter and the photograph, explaining, "This is the con we have. We are going to send it to Mexico." What a fucking brainiac! He just thought he thought he had it all figured out. Oh, they'll never. Oh, no one's ever done this before. No one's ever thought of this. Oh, I'm such a genius. Oh my God, I'm a mastermind. I'm a friggin' criminal mastermind. When Nityananda received the second letter back from Mexico City, he forwarded it to Jayatirtha in Los Angeles along with a cover letter which read, "I received this letter yesterday from Rajanath, Robin's Krishna name. I suppose it will make her parents happy to know that she is not in one of our temples. The fact that she signs her name Robin is not a very good sign. Anyway, your letters requested that any information be sent as soon as it was received. So I hope this will help out with your problem here. There. This girl was a really nice devotee when she was here, and it's a real shame that she had such a strange family." Jayatirtha in turn sent Robin's letter to Nityananda's with Nityananda's commentary to the Cyprus police. Her family wasn't strange. You guys talked her into running away. You told her mom and dad were demons and she needed to get away and she couldn't be Hare Krishna living with her mom and dad. You convinced her, you brainwashed her, you coerced her and manipulated her into leaving her mom and dad and moving into a temple against her parents' wishes. Then you agreed to let her go home, and then she ran away again. You guys got her back out, and now you're hiding her out. You got her in Buffalo, Dallas, Miami, New Orleans. They just want her daughter back. They want this shit to end, and they want her daughter back. That's it. That's all they want. They're not strange. You guys are strange. You guys are strange. Because you're doing all of this for a 14-year-old girl that you don't know, you got no connection with. She just walked into your temple one day and said, hey, I like it here. This is cool. And you guys are like, oh my goodness, we got to keep her. We'll send her to San Diego. No, we'll send her to New Orleans. No, we'll send her to Buffalo. No, we'll send her to Ottawa. No, we'll send her back to Miami. No, we'll send her to Dallas. No, we'll send her to San Diego and Laguna Beach. And why? And we're going to make letters and send the letters to Mexico City, and we're going to tell her where she's in Mexico. And it's friggin' insane. They thought they were going to get away with this. The Georges received Robin's letter from the Dempseys. Based on a variety of factors, the Georges concluded that both the letter and the photograph were part of a scam. They figured it out right away. It took them like 2 seconds. They're like, come on. Hey, come on. They continued to believe Robin was being hidden from them somewhere in the Krishna movement. Yeah, they're hiding your underage daughter, your 14-year-old daughter, 15 now, I guess. She had to have had a birthday by now. 15-year-old daughter, they're hiding her out. They won't tell you where she is. They're lying to you. They're scamming you. All of these things. Her family's not strange. Her family's going, what the fuck did she get involved in? We just thought she was going to go check out some other religion. You know, she went to the Catholic Church. You know, that was one thing. She went to the Greek Orthodox Church. I don't know, nothing. And then she went to the synagogue and she was talking to the rabbi. You know, I don't know about that. And then she went over there and she was talking to the Baptist guy. And then she went, and then next thing you know, she's in the fucking Hare Krishnas in friggin' Ottawa, Canada, being trafficked around by some guy named Padma Garva and Rosmadev and Nityananda and Amsu and who knows what. And her parents are the crazy ones. Her parents are the strange ones. That's what you guys think. After all this, you've been doing all this. You're the ones buying the airlines tickets and the bus ticket and bus from Buffalo to Ottawa and a plane from San Diego to Dallas to here to there. And you're calling her parents crazy? Strange? The beginning of the end. Thank God, because this is a long-ass story. I mean, I knew it was long, but in the late summer of 1975, Carol Dempsey left the New Orleans temple and returned to Southern California. After living in the Los Angeles temple for a short time, she returned home in September to live with her mother. In mid-October, Karen contacted the Georges and told Marcia that Robin was in Ottawa. After relaying this information to the Cypress police, Jim decided to drive to Ottawa. That's how bad he wanted his daughter back. He wanted his daughter back so bad. She's been gone for so long now that he's going to drive from Los Angeles to Ottawa, Canada. Accompanied by Canadian authorities, Jim arrived at the Ottawa Temple on October 28, 1975. Alerted by another devotee, Amsu instructed Robin to disguise herself using a wig and glasses, which had been purchased with just such an eventuality in mind. So they already knew they were going to come looking for her one day, and they said, when that day comes, you're going to put on this wig and these glasses. They were going to Clark Kent her way out of there. Robin was able to leave through a back door and proceed to a nearby residential apartment where she met Amsu's wife, Jagadikanda. Jagadikanda gave Robin some non-Krishna karmi clothes and instructed her to go to downtown Ottawa and wait in a department store for an hour before calling. This is just so convoluted and such a whole thing that it's just pissing me off the more and more I read it. And I know it's crazy that it's pissing me off, but it just is. It just is, because I know these people. I was one of them. I know these people. I literally know the people in the story, which is really weird for me, that I know these people. Or I knew them. It's not like they're, like I know them now and they were buddies. I met these people when I was in the Hare Krishnas. All three of these guys. That's crazy to me. An hour later, Robin phoned the temple and spoke with Amsu. He picked her up a few minutes later, and they drove for several hours to an isolated farm, which was being rented by an independent devotee named Hanuman. The house was vacant at the time because Hanuman's wife had just had a baby and was staying in a hospital near town. Okay, so meanwhile, back in California, Captain Amberg of the Cypress Police had interviewed Carol Dempsey. On Friday, October 31st, Amberg phoned Jayatirtha at the Los Angeles temple. In somewhat colorful language, he told Jayatirtha that the statement from Karen Dempsey indicated the Krishnas had been lying with respect to their knowledge of Robin's whereabouts. He threatened a criminal prosecution and gave Jayatirtha 24 hours to produce Robin. Within minutes, Amberg received a phone call from an attorney representing the Krishnas. The lawyer asked if he could have until Monday morning to look into the matter. Amberg agreed on the condition that he receive a phone call from the lawyer before 9 a.m. Amsu returned to Hanuman's farm on the evening of October 31st. He told Robin, "Your father says he has a letter that can put all of us in jail, all the devotees in jail, or could put me in jail, and Jayatirtha in jail, and Nityananda in jail." What letter is he talking about? Robin replied that the only letter she could think of was the one she had written to Karen Dempsey, explaining how she had gotten from Los Angeles to Ottawa. Amsu then explained to Robin that Karen had left the Krishna movement. He also told her that Jayatirtha wants you out in L.A. immediately. Amsu then drove Robin to Detroit, where he purchased her a plane ticket to Los Angeles. Robin flew to Los Angeles on November 2nd. She was met by several Krishna devotees and taken to the Los Angeles temple. On Monday, November 3rd, Robin was summoned to Jayatirtha's office. She told him about the letter she had written to Karen. Jayatirtha told Robin that she had to retrieve the letter because otherwise he and some of the other devotees might have to go to jail. Yeah, either he was afraid they were gonna he was gonna go to jail, or he might lose his head. That's what he was afraid of. They discussed Robin's letter to Karen. The lawyer stated that the devotees were in very serious trouble and told Robin she had to retrieve the letter because it's very damaging. During the meeting, the lawyer placed a phone call to Captain Amberg. He stated that although the Krishnas did not know where Robin was, he wanted to know whether criminal charges would be pressed if Robin appeared within a few days. Amberg replied he viewed such an inquiry as unprofessional. Amberg also said he would not be surprised if Robin was sitting in the lawyer's office that very moment. According to Robin, the lawyer turned white, his jaw dropped, he said goodbye, and hung up the phone. As the meeting continued, the lawyer gave Robin some psychological tests to take. He wanted her to see a psychiatrist to demonstrate that she had joined the Krishna movement of her own volition. He also indicated he would arrange for her to turn herself into the Cyprus police the following day. He instructed her to tell the police, 1, she told all the devotees she was 18 years old and they believed her. 2, official Krishna money had not been used on her. And 3, her parents had been cruel to her. And 4, she wanted to be placed in a foster home. See how these Krishnas are? Do you see how these Krishnas are? There's no honesty with them. Their books don't mean shit. It's all a scam. They don't care. They don't care about children. They don't care about kids or women. They're racist. They're sexist. If they'll do this, look what they're doing to this girl. Look what they did to this girl. They're busted. They're everything. And they're still trying to get her to lie. Lie for us. Lie for us. Lie for us the way we were lying to your parents and the way we were lying to the police. Lie for us. We lied for you. We lied to you and we lied for you, and now it's your turn to lie for us. That's what they're telling her. Otherwise, we might go to jail. Ooh, we might go to jail because we did crimes. And we knew we were doing crimes the whole time we were criming. And we're so busted. They've got evidence. They've got letters. They've got testimony. They've got this Karen Dempsey who can get on the stand and explain everything. The next morning, Robin decided to run away from the temple. As she described it, I felt that demons that I knew were better than demons that I didn't know, and I didn't feel safe or trust the ISKCON lawyer. I wanted to live in a temple, and I was just very confused. After running from the temple, she caught a bus and rode it to the end of the line. From there, she hitchhiked to Vivian Grass's house, where she telephoned Karen Dempsey. Karen arrived a short time later, and they talked all night. The next morning, Robin walked home. Shortly after she got home, Captain Amberg and other members of the Cyprus Police Department arrived at the George's residence to interview Robin. As she had been instructed, Robin lied to the police in order to protect the Krishnas. After giving the police a tape-recorded statement, Robin was taken to juvenile hall. 3 weeks later, she was released to her parents. The aftermath. Less than 4 months later, on March 5th, 1976, Jim George suffered a heart attack. Thereafter, he suffered several strokes, which required extensive hospitalization. On September 4th, 1976, Jim George died. An expert testified at trial that although Jim had been diagnosed as having heart disease as early as May 1974, the stress occasioned by his interaction with the Krishnas and his inability to locate Robin significantly shortened his life. After Robin's return home, Marcia and Robin became active in an anti-cult organization known as the Citizens Freedom Foundation. In October 1976, the Krishnas became aware that Robin was going to speak at a Citizens Freedom Foundation press conference concerning the Krishna movement. In preparation for the press conference, Makunda, the community affairs director for the Los Angeles Temple, prepared a press release entitled "The Official Position Regarding Robin George." Among other things, the official position stated that Robin complained of being beaten by her parents. It suggested she was motivated initially to seek shelter at the Laguna Beach Temple and later flee to New Orleans because of parental abuse. The official position was distributed to members of the media who attended the press conference. Excuse me. Excuse me. In this is the final section here. We're wrapping up the lawsuit. In October 1977, Robin and Marcia filed suit against 4 Krishna corporate entities: ISKCON of California, New York, Louisiana, and Canada, and 2 individuals, Rasmadev and Nityananda. The case went to trial on theories of false imprisonment as to Robin, intentional infliction of emotional distress, Robin and Marcia, libel, Robin and Marcia, and wrongful death, Robin. The jury returned a verdict in favor of the Georges on all cases of action, awarding damages as follows. Following the court's conditional granting of defendant's motion for a new trial, the Georges accepted a remittitor, reducing the compensatory award to Marcia on the emotional distress claim to $400,000 and the punitive awards for false imprisonment to $5 million, for emotional distress to $2 million, and for libel to $500,000. The centerpiece of this case, in both terms of the evidentiary presentation at trial and the amount of damages awarded, was Robin George's claim that she had been falsely imprisoned by defendants during the approximately 1 year she was a member of the Krishna faith. Good to see you, Mike. Good to see you live, Mike. Someday you should talk about the insanity of the Laguna Beach Temple in the 70s and 80s. Drug dealing, drug taking, and all sorts of crazy crap. Yeah, I will. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that, absolutely. And this was part of it. So this was happening in the 70s at the Laguna Beach Temple, between 74 and 76. So this is part of what you're talking about, the insanity there. So this has been just a crazy. There's more to this. There's the aftermath, and it goes on, and the all of this, and you can find this at caselaw.findlaw.com. That's caselaw.findlaw.com, and you can just type in George versus ISKCON, and it'll pop right up. And so that's the Robin George story, and it's very pertinent today as it was when it happened. So it happened in 74. It was finally decided. The Court of Appeals with the amount of the damages was finalized in 1992. So you can see it takes some time for these things to work their way through the court system. But I'm glad that Robin George won. I'm glad that she got something. Now that I know what this cult is, and I know that how much of a scam it is, and all the workings of it, she was manipulated. She was coerced. She was lied to. Everything they told her was a lie. It's not a 5,000-year-old tradition. There's no ancient anything. It's not Vedic culture. All that crap. They lied to her. They lied to her family. They caused distress to her mom, her father, who passed away. Rest his soul. There's a horrible story all the way around. It's just a horrible, horrible thing that happened. And I'm glad she won. I'm glad she got something out of it. And I'm disgusted that I actually met these guys. This Padma Garba character and this Rasmadev and these other guys, the Nityananda. And you can see from this from this court document, the attitude that these Krishnas have, the lying, the deceiving, the con, the scamming, the dishonesty of these holy people. They want to cosplay as holy men, put on their tilak and their beads and chant their rounds and tilak on their head and all this crap, and this is how they act. This is how they act. This is why it disgusts me, because they want everyone to think that they're a holy man. They have their festival down in Venice Beach, and everybody thinks, oh, these are the Hare Krishna, and give their lectures, and these guys sit on their little seat and read their books, and everyone thinks they're Mr. Dalai Lama. Fucking no, fucking scammers, fucking shady creeps, pedophiles, abusers, racists, sexists, every disgusting thing you can think of. That's who these people are. And this it shows you what's going on back then. 1974. 1974. These guys are doing this bullshit. And they're still doing the same shit today. The same lies, the same coercion, the same manipulation. All of it's all the same. And nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. And so, I'm glad I got this out there. I know a lot of you out there probably watching this video on the replay, and a lot of you probably have been watching live, because I've had a lot of viewers on this video. You probably learned something, because you probably didn't know about this. This is not something that this isn't discussed or brought up in conversation. If you're a Hare Krishna, this stuff's not, this case is really not talked about or discussed. And I remember when I was in it, it was 92 is when I joined. And it had just been decided. So the whole thing, it had run its case, it was done, and it was over. And I heard about the case was over. And everybody's talking shit about this Robin George. Like, oh, she was, she's a demon, she's this, she's that, she's evil. And, she joined and they helped her, and then she turned around and sued and blah, blah, blah. And she was the bad person. Well, of course, that's what they're going to say. She was the bad one. But no. She was lied to. She was coerced. She was brainwashed. She was manipulated. She went through hell. Traumatized. I'm sure she was traumatized by this whole thing. How do you go through that and not end up traumatized? It doesn't make sense. Hey, Glenn, hey, you're welcome, man. I'm glad you got something out of it, man. For you devotees that maybe had heard about it, now you got to hear from the court documents, from the court case, exactly what was going on. Testimony. You got to hear testimony. You got to hear firsthand eyewitness accounts of what happened in that case. And so you out there that are Hare Krishnas that are like pissed off at the whole thing, and I don't give a fuck. I'm here to get you out. I'm here to help people get out of this cult. And if that pisses you off and it makes you uncomfortable and you don't like it and you don't want to hear that you're in a cult and you don't want to hear about all this bullshit and these fucked up gurus and the piece of shit writings and books and all that crap, well, too fucking bad. Too fucking bad. The old fogies would talk about the deprogrammers all the time. Ted Patrick was spoken of as Satan himself. I wish I was kidnapped and deprogrammed. Honestly, man, I wish someone had sat down with me and said, Mike, man, one of my friends had sat down with me and said, hey, man, you're in a fucking cult, dude. You're in a cult and they're manipulating you. And this is all bullshit. And there's no demon head eating the moon. And there's no four-headed guy. And all of that stuff. I wish somebody had sit down and friggin'... Your friends aren't going to do that. Your friends are going to go, hey, if he wants to believe in demon heads eating the moon, your friends are going to be nice and be like, hey, Mike, Mike's Hare Krishna. He shaves his head and he believes demon heads eating the moon. Hey, that's Mike, crazy Mike. They're not going to sit down with you and go, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" They're not going to do that. I'll do it though. What the fuck is wrong with you? I'll do it. I'll do it for 2 hours and 25 minutes and 8 seconds. I'll do it. So I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope you got something out of the Robin George case. Now you know all about it. You know who was the participants in it. You know what she did. You know how it happened, how she got out of it, and how much money they got. You learned. You got it all. You got the whole thing. Um, yeah, this religion will brainwash the crap out of you to the point you constantly living with guilt trips. But thanks, Mike, for backing up our gut feelings about this BS. Absolutely, man. I know it's tough. It's tough, and I'm happy to do it, man. I know people need to hear it. People need to hear it, and because I don't want any of you guys that are out of it to slip back in. I don't want you to slip back in and be like, well, I really kind of miss the kirtan and playing the ching chings and doing all that stuff. I don't 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 do that. You back up everything you say here with the facts. Yeah, I try to. I absolutely try to, and some of my insight, some of my insight. So again, I want to thank you all, everybody that's joining in, everybody that joins in and engages. Please like, share, and subscribe. So important to like, share, and subscribe, so more people can see these videos, have an opportunity to see these videos, because the video doesn't do any good if no one sees it. So we need more and more people to see them, so they can be warned and they can be helped out, because we're doing two things here. We're warning people that don't know, and for those of you that are in, I'm trying to help you get out. That's really what I'm doing. I'm trying to help you to get out of this thing. Knock some sense into your head. So everybody, thank you so much for watching, and again, like, share, and subscribe. And again, here's me as a Hare Krishna for all of you that are like, who's this guy Mike, and why is he talking shit about the Hare Krishnas? Well, it's because I was a Hare Krishna, and here I am as a Hare Krishna. Thanks, everybody.